Nearly?
Abby, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning.
Okay, call today's meeting to order. Jim, will you do roll call, please?
Tom McDonald,
Here?
Lynn Tutis, Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor,
Here.
Carol Langford, Terry Pitts, Bing Matt,
Here.
Ellie Bundy, present, Martin Charlo, Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
James Steele Sr.
Thank you, Jen. As always, we start this morning off with prayer. Could I ask Mr. Smallsalmon if you would lead us in a prayer this morning?
Thank you for that. And thank you, everyone.
Okay, we have our minutes for your consideration. All right, motion with corrections. Motion approve the minutes by Len with any corrections. Second. Second by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous, one abstention. Jimmy is abstaining. Okay, we have the agenda today. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? I have one quick one on behalf of Bing. I guess it would be for the Intertribal Buffalo Council. They have a vote for membership addition.
I have two things, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Ellie has two. Any other items, changes for? Jimmy has one for executive. Okay. Two walk-ins. Okay. Any other changes for today's agenda? Still trying to get a half-day agenda in. Motion by Mike to approve today's agenda with additions. Second by Ellie. All those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Okay, let's take our first walk-in.
Shirley.
Shirley,
Tran.
come on up.
Okay.
Ready to go. Esquarks, Shirley.
To open. I come with a peaceful heart, a good heart. And after we got home from Helena, I was thinking about my actions when we were up there by the White Buffalo. And I kind of popped off in to me an unbecoming way, and I apologize to the council if I caused you any I can't think of the word to say, but I didn't think I should have done that there. I should have waited till council time and come in and addressed you guys here. So I apologize for that. And then I want to say that, but what I did say, I don't want to take that back. I want to expand a little bit on that. I did say that one of the things I said was that we should ask the council to always consult with the people before you make big decisions like building Three Chiefs, building on Ravalli Hill, and opening the bison range there. I think that the people should be made known about big things like that. I want to ask the council to provide a bigger item in the Charcusta where people can really see it and ask them for their comments. How do they feel about that? Not only the elders, but everybody, because it concerns everybody. We did not have a roundup this year. Some of the medical people there, the veterinarians or whatever, said that it's too stressful for the buffalo to do the roundup and have so many people there. And I mentioned before that that would be too stressful for them. And I think if you open the door on that side, you're going to stress them even more. It's already bad for them the way the tourists act. I was up there a couple of times and there were bunches of cars parked near them, people getting off and walking towards them. I wanted to get off my car and go over there and tell them, get the hell back in your cars the way your signs tell you. You're endangering yourselves and those animals too. But I really think that that's not a good move to open the gate or the fence on that side. And as for the Three Chiefs, already mentioned that before here, and I don't think I don't think it's a real good place to have it, mainly because it's on the main highway, and there's a lot of cars pass through there, people pass through there that we don't even know about. And if that was there, would kind of leave it unsafe. Unsafe for the workers there and unsafe for people to break in at night, because there'd be, they're so remote from everyone. But I do want to ask the tribal council to please consult the people before you make those decisions. Some people have already mentioned having 3 Chiefs building there and opening the bison range there. I don't think it's still too late. I mean, I don't think it's too late. Put a comment or a letter in the newspaper and ask them, the tribal members, what do you think? Because I know we need money to run the Buffalo Park. I always called it Buffalo Park since I was a kid. We need money for the staff there, need money to run it. But we should find a different way to get that money to pay those people, pay for the everything there. And as far as the White Buffalo goes, the placing it there in the 3 Chiefs building, I don't know. Because when we were in Helena, the council and Shane talked pretty much about history, pretty much about business. But to us, it's more than that. It's more than the history. It's more than business. It's spiritual. And it's very cultural. And I think it would be good if there was a bigger item in a Charcusta or even on the emails. What do you think about those decisions? To our people. I know a lot of non-members don't really like that idea either. And I say that if people really want to go there, they can use the old opening, the old gate, just like everybody else. And it shouldn't be, if they really want to go there, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to go that much farther. Thank you so much for listening to me. I came with a good heart for the council, for all your work you do, and also for our people, that they should be listened to. They should be consulted in big decisions like that. And I think that's all I have to say, and thank you again for listening. I appreciate you guys. Lemlem.
Lemlem, Shirley,
Yeah.
we hear you.
Yep, my deal is always for the people and for what they need and want. And I want you to know I'm not running for council.
Why not? I'll be done in 3 years. You can have my spot.
Stephen is next, and then we had Anthony, but I had enrollment to go speak with him.
Stephen,
Got all morning. Lot of things, you know. There you go, young man. It's already on and all set. What? I don't really know what he said. Anyway, aspect special. I'm glad Shirley was talking about the white buffalo. And born 1933 and it died 1959. And when we went to Elna, I didn't think we were going to talk about that, you know. They just said, "You want to go to Elna?" And I said, "Sure." They called me, the elders. And when I got down there, then they said, "Well, you know, we're going to talk about the white buffalo." And I was happy about that, you know. And, you know, I always come here and ask, when are we going to get that back, you know? When are we going to get that back? And anyway, when we're down there, and I was happy to see that most of the councilmen there, sitting there, you know, and and that made me happy, made me stronger. And I had a good teacher. Pete Beaverhead was my mom and my dad split up years ago, so Pete Beaverhead kind of took me in as my father, you know. I learned a lot from him. And a lot of changes in our times, you know. I used to go see that white buffalo, big medicine. They said it's not an albino. And to me, it doesn't make any difference. It's just sacred, you know, to our people, not just to me, to all of us, you know, all the people here that live here. And then I wanted to know, you know, when I got back and kind of drilled in my head when I was at Kusum. I said, what is albino? You know, I asked many people. I just didn't say, well, it's an albino. Then I heard Byrne saying about something that black, you know. And I was trying to figure out then. I saw some pictures the other day, years ago when it was still alive. It had that black, whatever you call it, you know. I was kind of confused a little bit, you know. But to me, today, I say it is sacred to the Indian people. Because when we used to go down there, he was fenced in down below, you know. And we could see it, not way down, but, you know, you could see it right there, you know. And another thing that kind of confused me there, at Helena, I thought it was in 1 month's time, you know, that we get back. And I kind of joked about it. I said, let's just take it right now, you know. I don't trust those guys, you know, just duct tape it and let's take it home. Really meant that, you know. It's ours now. I hope it's ours, you know. Is there a written thing, you know? Long time ago, we used to shake hands and say, you know, when you shake hands once, that's it, you know. Today, you have to have a written thing, you know. So Is it written to us now? Is it ours right now? Or is it ours in 2 years? Or is it ours until that thing is built up there, you know? And we're still waiting for their thing across the road, you know, where they're supposed to move, you know? What is the holdup? What is the holdup, you know? Another 2 years, another 4 years? You know, are we out of money? Are we what, you know? That's what my thoughts are, you know. Or maybe they're thinking too, you know. We should start right now, tomorrow, you know, both places. The Longhouse, you know. Somebody's got to push, you know. Somebody's got to say, hey, listen to the elders, listen to them. Let's do it right now. Let's build it, you know. To me, that's why I feel, you know. And I always talk to Shirley and them down there, you know, when are they going to have it, you know? And they keep changing places, I think. I'm not sure. I got to ask her, you know. Is it here? Is it there? Is it there? Or is it where? You know, just like Elmo, you know, when they had they were going to put up slot machines, I call them yet today. You know, is there a question there? You know, and it's really a great honor to get it back. You know, but I want it here, even if you sit it right here. You know, and say, hey, it's here. You know. Not over there, you know, for 60 years. The paper said 60 some years, you know. And what is it? Is it delicate that if we move it, it's going to break to pieces? That's another thing, you know. You know, that, and I want it back here. They want it back here. You guys want it back here. All the Indians want it back here. The ones I talk to, you know. It belongs right here. Right here. Now we got another little one. I'm not pointing at you. I'm just going like that. That should have been blessed right away, you know, to protect that, you know. You know, it should have been. We were out there getting some buffalo, you know, we were out there, you guys know about it. We shot it. We brought the kids out there. They enjoyed it. They were just sitting there, you know. 3 of them sat there by the guts, just looking at it, you know. And a person come over and said, boy, that's a good thing those kids get to see that. Not all the kids get to see that, you know. They got it right there. They cut it up. You know. Things got to change, you know. Maybe I'm wrong, but we got to change. I almost lost my life twice this year, you know. I had a rough time. Bring that buffalo back and make us, not just me, all of us happy. Make us happy. Make the Longhouse happy. You guys think about that. You guys are the chiefs. You guys got the power. Not me. Do it tomorrow. Say, hey, let's get that Longhouse going. Let's get that so we could have the white buffalo back and everything, you know. What do we have to do? You guys have to vote on it? You have to talk about it? That's what I'm asking you for today. And I brought these here. You know, we hand them out when we were at Missoula, when we were walking across. Just a few times they talk about Ponderay, and I am a full blood. They've written me down as a full blood Ponderay, you know. I wish to talk more about Ponderay, Salish, and Kootenai, you know. And I brought this back, you know. I think, did Tom make this? Tom Smith? It's here, you know. Read about it. I don't know if you guys got one, but I'm gonna make sure you guys get one today. If you don't want to read it, just push it aside. But I'd like you guys to read it, you know. Us elders don't have very much time, but make us happy, you know. Make us happy. Say, hey, Shirley, Steve, we're gonna get that started tomorrow. The Longhouse. We're gonna get that thing up on a hill. I was listening to Shirley, what she was saying about where we're gonna put that white elephant, white elephant, white buffalo. Should get a white elephant too, besides that. That we should, you know. I don't want to wait 2 years to get it, you know. Go put it up there, put it here, put it anywhere, you know. Get a professional to move it. I heard somebody say we're going to get a professional to move it. We got to have questions today, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe 20 years I'll be still coming in here. Hey, where are we going to get it? And that little white one should have been blessed soon as it was out, you know. I was going to go out there and bless it today, you know. It's your voice, not you know, but it's a sacred, you know. Then another thing I read here, I talk to people, they say, albino lives only a few years. But the one I was looking at yesterday in South Dakota, well, he was already big, you know, and he was an albino. No response on that, or with Buffalo, or?
Go ahead, Lynn. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the council. Stephen, thank you for
Thank you.
Lim for bringing those questions up, because we need to answer those questions to the membership. I was wondering about that also, about the time limit on getting Big Medicine home. And I think we need to have that discussion amongst us. And I think we all agree that we need to get them back sooner than 2 years. Even if that means putting him in the lobby in there, or just anywhere, just somewhere where we can just bring him home. So we will have an answer for the people on that very soon. And once once all the council agrees, we'll start the process immediately. And in regards to the new language center, or the additional to the Longhouse, we will also ask our executive team where they're at with that, because we have not received an update on where they're at with the planning of that. So we will get a solid answer for you guys all today.
Thank you, Lynn. The Buffalo Big Medicine is ours right now. And what we have is an agreement to have them temporarily hold him. We haven't signed that agreement yet, for the Montana Historic, for us to have him on loan there where he's currently residing when we saw him the other day, until we move him. So he could be moved anytime we want to facilitate that movement. And he could be moved to, as Shirley said, there is space at the visitor center at Mo East. He could be moved there, or he could be moved, as Glenn said, even here or at the Longhouse. It could be whatever location we want to. He does have to be moved professionally. His status in the report on his condition was made some assumptions, and it made assumptions in favor of us to be able to acquire him. Because one of the first items that they raised on not wanting to give him back was his condition that he could not be moved. But we made the eloquent argument that he can be moved. And so we want to be able to do that. So every time we move him, though, it jeopardizes something happen, as you said. He may have an incident. So it's best if we could just move him the minimal amount of times, maybe hopefully just once. And that's what you heard Shane say when we were there, trying to identify we could only move him, try to only move him once. So that would be the best thing to do, the respect for the animal that he is in his current condition is out. That would be the scenario. And the reason why we would do an agreement with them to currently, because he's ours right now today, is to make sure that their insurance and all their stuff covers him if something happens there at the historical museum. So that was the main emphasis when we exited the building that day, and I was talking to the curator that was the thing we had to do. So that hasn't, as far as I know, been signed. It hasn't been brought forward to us yet. Should be done today. We were hoping to have it done yesterday. So, yeah, Big Medicine, let's bring him home. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to do that. And as soon as we can, we hope to do it.
And did you get a letter that it belongs to us now, or is it just their talk, you know, when we went up there?
It's codified in the Montana Historical Society Board of Trustees minutes. It's codified in their minutes that he is ours. They restored him back to us. That was official.
And when is that 3 chiefs going to be set up? You said it was going to set up way up there on where the toilets are.
There was the original plans for the People's Museum when Betty White was facilitating it. There was 3 alternatives for its siting. Valley Hill up there where the scenic turnout is, out at Hammers Dam, out by your house.
Where?
Hammers Dam. And the other one was, up by Crow Creek. And then where they built it in the industrial park in Pablo. So
I remember that first time. I don't know if Shirley remembered. That's where they were going to put that place, you know. And Pat Pierre kind of had that kind of a smile. Way out in the boondocks. You remember that? We were there, you know. Then they had some kind of, somebody come up and said a prayer, you know, from Alaska. Pat still remembered that. And Pat said, how come none of us said the prayer, you know? I don't know. I'm just asking a lot of questions. I mean, a few questions is all, but
we did, as far as the secondary, so part of and this goes to Shirley's issue, is that, you know, we all are I am deeply concerned about climate change. I can't express how concerned I am about it. As a biologist, I've seen it, you know, and I've seen the effects of it my whole life, as all of us have. So one of the big issues about we have to run the bison range, it has to be open to the public in perpetuity. So and it's a drive-through wildlife park, essentially. So one of the great things that we can do is reduce our carbon footprint. And in order to reduce our carbon footprint, if we take the loop drive that's there and move it closer to the main thoroughfare where everybody's driving to get to it, we reduce the driving time from the average vehicle going to the bison range by 25 minutes of operating their motor. 25 minutes per vehicle. And that's if there's a secondary entrance off of Ravalli Hill. To me, that's what it's all about for me, is simply that. And then the secondary thing, as Shirley mentioned, is that it has to be able to stand alone eventually on its own 2 feet. And so if there's a way that we can extract additional revenue from visitors just going to a visitor center there, they don't even have to go on to the rest of the property. As long as they're on the footprint of the bison range, it counts as public access. So we could close the loop roads even theoretically, as long as there was that site right there on the corner of the bison range, we would meet the obligation of the law. So it has a lot of different things. And then the ability to generate revenue from that site, from our artists, from our, you know, telling the story about all the animals and all the things that are affected by climate change. You know, telling people about our native people. It really is a great place to do that. I think that's why it was one of the sites and the finalists for the People Center back in the day. So there's a lot of arguments to do something there. There has been not even one dime of planning spent on it yet. So it's all theoretical. We went through an exercise with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service when they thought they were going to build a new visitor center. And we collectively had a team of tribal interests. All the disciplines were represented. And it was concurred that was the location to build a new visitor center for the bison range, was on that corner up at Ravalli Hill. So that in the last planning process, that's what we ended up doing, was identifying that as the ideal location for the best interest of the bison range, its environment, the buffalo, education of the rest of the resources in Western Montana, education about our native people. So that's what we came to the conclusion about that site. It doesn't mean that it has to happen. When we get into a process of doing something, we will do environmental analysis also. Besides doing more things like Shirley's talking about, getting ahead of it, we will be required to do public review on anything that we build. So we'll be able to scope it as best we can. There's always greater ideas, and that's the one thing that I'm certainly open to, is any greater ideas. But I will tell you, climate change is a high priority for me as a person, because I want to make sure 10 generations from now, our people still have a place that they can call home and still live on the landscape. So I really, really look at trying to reduce our carbon footprint. And that's the ultimate benefit for me on having an entrance up on Ravalli Hill. It provides that, because the data shows, I know where all the people are coming from that are entering that park, the Buffalo Park. And so that is the main thoroughfare. Even when they're coming from the north, coming down, you think, well, it might be better to go to Moe's, less of a carbon footprint, but it's not. It's actually still Ravalli Hill is a closer drive for them. The only ones that benefit from the entrance right now on a carbon footprint are those people that are driving Highway 200 and coming that route. Most of the visitors now, though, coming from Washington and Idaho and Oregon and California, are taking the cutoff. They're going up towards Mike's Country, and they're coming across Hot Springs, coming to Elmo. Then they're coming back as they get to their destination in the Upper Flat. Then they're coming back Highway 93 to visit the park, the Buffalo Park. So I don't know. I just really am concerned about that. And how can we do away with that? We could offer shuttles. We could make sure that we could say that the tour route is only through an electric bus, and they have to ride with us. You could keep that same entrance, but they still have to drive to that entrance to get on the bus. So that's the problem. It's that loop around to get to Moe's. If they got on the bus at Ravalli Hill, that'd even be better. That'd be a win-win-win. But that would be one way we could reduce the carbon footprint even more, is require all electric vehicles to enter the park, electric mass transportation on the park, And it's just a lot of different ways. Sorry, I'm just rambling now, but go ahead, Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The one thing that we could get started on, I believe, is getting the glasswork, the encasing, so that Big Medicine can be placed into display, but he was encased in glass. The other thing we got to remember is about the base is like 5 or 6 feet wide. So I don't know if we could even get him into this building. It'd have to be wide enough because you'd then have to take him off the base. And that you wouldn't really want to do. I'm assuming Moise is set up to take larger items in there because they do have some larger items in there, but you wouldn't be able to put it here and you wouldn't want it out there because one of the biggest devastation to mounts like that is ultraviolet light. Light itself really will destroy it. So you kind of want it where it's out of the light. But that would be something that we need to maybe investigate to see who we'd want to have construct that, because that's going to take some time. I did talk to a guy that preserved supposedly 3 of the last bison that came out of Yellowstone. And I asked him about the glass work. He said, you just have to get someone in like Missoula that's a company that makes those and they can make it to specs. But of course, Shane would probably follow up on that stuff. But you can't get it through these doors to get it in here unless you took it off its base. So those are just things we got to have discussion about.
Thanks, Terry. Any other comments from council? Yeah, Shirley, go ahead.
Actually, 2 questions. One question is, has the council talked to the NRD people at the Bison Range about placing white buffalo there? They do, remember I did mention that they do have a place ready for it. It's been ready since the museum opened. Have you consulted with them about that? You don't have to answer right now, but I just want to let you know I was thinking about that. And also, as far as revenue to run the Buffalo Park, have you considered getting that revenue from gaming? Or is that already earmarked for other things? So those are just some things I thought about while you were all talking. So just think about it, and something to think about
Thank
as
you,
a way
Shirley.
to get revenue.
Thank you. Of course, you know what my previous job was, so I'm pretty aware of the layout of the visitor center, working with Steph and everybody else there at the Bison Range. So indeed, there's actually 3 locations I identified as a visitor center that it could go. But the considerations like Terry brought up are always a factor, and if that's going to be the permanent spot for that, given the age of the building, the issues with the building itself, it has a horrible roof on it. Again, it's one of those. I don't know why we ever continue to build these flat roofs, but it has, yeah, exactly. It leaks right over here. We do it all the time, but the revenue, it goes in the general fund and it's all earmarked. It's all, well, Ruth could probably describe to you how our revenue is allocated. It's already going there right now. It's going to run the Bison Range right now, at least part of it. So that's indeed the case. But you know, all ideas are on the table. Any idea that we can do, and it's a team effort, and it's because we all want to make sure that the Buffalo Park is there forever, and we have that obligation now by federal law. but it's something we all care about. And it was a big turn of events when Big Medicine was born. Was that all of a sudden a bunch of our tribal folks that wanted to go there. They felt so bad about it before that. And so it's really, it even intensified the return of the bison range, the return of Big Medicine. It's all just fantastic. It's really good. So really hope to make something very valuable and meaningful for our folks forever. We'll work on trying to figure out how to get that mount. That's the first thing would be identify the contractor, figure out how we're going to move that buffalo back here and move them without breaking them and damaging them. And then if we can secure that in a meaningful way and know how to do it right, then maybe we can move them multiple times if needed. But I have a lot of concerns about that visitor center building. It's just been trying to retrofit it to the needs that we have today for a fee entrance system park. No handicap accessibility really. There's a collage of issues with that facility that if we had the money, if we had a chance to do over, it would be great. And that would be seeking revenue to do a do-over, finding cooperating agencies that might assist us in building a nice visitor center, either at the Moe's entrance or up at Ravalli Hill. That's a priority for me to try to find that funding. Partner with other people that are like-minded like us. I know there's a lot of nonprofit organizations that would help contribute to building a beautiful visitor center. There's grant money. You just noticed the Crow Tribe got a $2 million grant to help design a new cultural center for them. I don't know why we didn't get one yet, but hopefully there's still some funding opportunities to help with that kind of design work. We have our insurance money, but that doesn't cover, it's just, insurance is never enough, and you always need more. As far as the longhouse, that's tied to our water rights settlement funding. And so there's a time frame there that we have to exhaust before we can really tap into that. But we're going to end up with a real nice facility. And it just may be, it can't be built tomorrow. And I want to make sure, at least me personally, that we listen to the elders at the longhouse, that it meets everybody's need, whatever the new facility is. And it's put where you want it to be put. It's very critical. There's no real arguing that matter. It's just real simple. So hopefully we can move forward with that. There's a lot of things we want to do with that money. It's checks in the bank, and we're dying to spend it. Literally. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you. Stephen, is that enough for now? We're thinking. You guys thinking, I tell you.
I'm sorry. Then when I read the paper, it said maybe in 5-10 years, you'll get it back, and that kind of sunk me in there, I thought, well, that day we're down there, I said, wow, maybe we'll have it tomorrow, Go duct tape it in the back of the longhouse. Bring it home,
It came from Shriver in the back of a pickup from Browning. That's how they moved it to Helena.
We take care of it, we'll take, you guys, we'll all make sure we take care of it, But the other deal is, how delicate is it, Is it gonna break when they move it or what, Oh, well, I guess.
We'll make it a priority to figure out how we're going to move it and being able to figure out how to do that. I think that's obviously step one. Yeah. We know we have one spot for it already. There may be,
I hear stories about the longhouse, everybody getting mad because they have the wakes up there and they have to shut the deal for not them to exercise, and I don't know who's using it, and seems like every time I go through there, there's just a few people, you know. And that's an old building too, you know, it's just getting old there, you know. Okay, well, I guess I'll be here next week.
I know a lot of actors that are centurions, so don't be talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess so, I don't know.
Well, next walk-in? No more?
No, I had Anthony go talk with enrollment,
Okay.
because it would have been just an enrollment issue. So you guys are ready to start your agenda for Mike Larson to be next?
Is council mind waiting to do your individual things? Okay. Yes, Michael Larson, please come on up. Not here? Oh, okay.
Whose Bible is though?
Okay, James, come on up. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, council. Thank you for your time today. My name is James Bible. I'm the president of Sovereign Leasing and the general manager at SNK Business Services. I'm here today to request from council an official vote to reinvest our 2021 declaration of dividend of $5,000. We'd like to reinvest it back in the company. We have an expansion for SNK self-storage across the street. We're going from 162 units to 251 units, and it should be done December 1st is our timeline. We'd like to reinvest to generate more revenue, not only for the tribe, but for our people.
Yeah, James, I think it was emailed, or I can't remember, we talked about it before, but just thought maybe it might be something easy to do. I said, no, that would actually take council action. I'm certainly supportive of it myself, but it would take tribal council action in order to waive that dividend payment and reinvest. Go ahead, Len.
James, I was just curious, so have you started a waiting list for people that were needing a storage unit?
Yes, we currently have a waiting list of 31 people.
31 people already, huh?
Yep.
Interesting. All right, thanks, James.
Yep.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to have SNK Business Services reinvest their dividend back into the company.
Motion by Len to reinvest the SKSS dividend back into the facility. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Show of hands. Carol? Okay. Yep, Carol's on. She's right there. Ellie, do you support the reinvestment of the SK Holding 2021 dividend back into their construction of storage facility? Yeah. Okay. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When do you anticipate completion of the storage facilities?
We're currently on schedule to complete it November 30th, but due to the weather and, you know, rain and, Mother Nature, you know, might be pushed back a few weeks.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. James, so if you have issues with payment delinquencies, how are you guys going to handle that?
Moving forward with our systems, we're on an automatic deduct system, or that through be payroll or banking or a debit card. But if we have delinquencies, if they're 30 days to 45 days past due, they will be contacted by letter. If no response within 90 days or 2 weeks after the letter, eventually their self-storage will be put up for auction. Well, any other questions?
How do you advertise for those auctions?
We use our socials to advertise them. And then we also use Bid13. Bid13.com is a nationwide bidding website that most of, if not around 95% of self-storage facilities use this. And you've seen it, just like, I don't know if you've seen the popular TV show.
Yeah, I was
Storage
wondering
Wars.
about that because
It's handled just like that, but it's all online now. There's no need to go in person to any storage facility that's listed on Bid13.
that takes the fun out of it, James.
It kind of does, but you know,
Like
you
going
don't-
yard sales, man.
you don't have to leave your home to win a facility. So how it's bid on there and how we advertise is, you know, when we cut a lock on a facility that's in delinquency or has no contact with us, we record the video, open the door, record it, just like the popular show, Storage Wars. Record it, can't enter. We put our lock on it. We put a safety tag on it, and then it goes up for bid. Stays on there for 2 weeks. The winner of the bid has to pick up their belongings if they do win the bid within 5 business days.
So you get a lot of participation.
On the popular ones, yeah, there's things that go for more than, you know, a lot of other items that are left in the storage units.
Okay. Well, James, I really hope you guys can look at some other options on advertising that and getting that out there because I think there'd be a lot of people interested in it.
Yeah.
Not everybody's got access to the way you guys are advertising. So
Yeah.
even possibly put it out on Facebook and things like that because yeah, like I said, Storage Wars is pretty popular show around here.
Yeah, we already list them on our Facebook and our socials. We have Instagram and Twitter also. We also list it on our website, and the only thing we fall short in is putting an advertisement in the Charcusta.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Ruth, you're up. It's quick.
That's quick. For your information, when I empty my storage unit, I give it away, so watch for my Facebook post. So council, today I'm requesting approval of modification 2 to your fiscal 23 total budget allocations. Running down the list of what these increases are about. Going with the increase to general fund, 900,000 in government operating is to transfer expense that we formerly had parked in our water rights budget that legal was overseeing. This is being transferred to executive officers oversight, managing activities that are still related to water compact. The increase in contracts, compacts, and grants is going to be recognizing allocation of awards in federally funded programs, contracts and grants, total of 13.3 million. And then on the next page, there's also some increases for some self-governance programs. In the general fund, that $1.3 million increase is to allocate our prior year award of deferred maintenance funding for the Bison Range. I like how we continue to talk about the Bison Range day in and day out at times. So that is to allocate a budget for the deferred maintenance activities that are being planned. You'll recall that award was 5.4 million that we received in the last fiscal year. We're also going to increase 50,000 in the government services line. That's to recognize the increase that was given to the Kootenai Culture Program for activities that they will undertake related to water compact. This was approved in their budget, but it was omitted from the enacted amount. So we're just recognizing that increase. So our total increase today will be 15,582,920 for a total revised allocation of 228,672,114. As we had advised when we enacted the budget, any of your modifications that come in after enactment is because we have actually got the revenue to allocate. It's either been awarded or was already received, and we're simply allocating it to the budget that the pertinent program is planning for.
Thank you, Ruth. It's pretty, any questions from council? Pretty simple?
Hope. Trying to simplify.
Well, simple math. I'm not doing algebra or something that Greg's doing back there on some physics.
Right.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve modification 2.
Motion by Lynn to approve the resolution for modification to the fiscal year 2023 total budget allocations for the general fund, compacts, grants, and contracts. Second by Ellie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next issue, they wanted to go into executive to start out with.
Okay, we'll go on to executive.